All right, so let's get started putting the LED headlamp on. First thing you're going to want to do is cover your fender. Just in case you happen to drop it, you don't want to mess up your fender. Okay, so first thing to do is remove the headlamp door, this chrome ring. That's what Harley calls it if you look in the service manual. I'm sure there's other various names that people call them, but officially it's called a headlamp door. And there's a little tiny Phillips head screw under here, and that's all that holds that on. You'll need a little stubby screwdriver to get under there. Now, when you get ready to pull this off, if you pull the bottom out first, you kind of turn it, it'll unlatch from the top. Right up here, you look right up here, there's a latch that this goes into, and that's what you're unscrewing. Okay, next there's going to be 3 headlamp screws right up here and here, and these hold the headlamp assembly, which is this part, on. So we'll take those out, and that'll get us to the wiring harness, which we can then disconnect to get the headlight out completely. I do the top one last. You might want to just hold it at that point because it will start to come out once that screw comes out. Put your finger up there, pull the screw out. There you go. That's what holds your headlamp in. And then your headlamp will just come out. Okay, now just for ease of getting the wiring harness all disconnected, I'm just going to undo it from here. This will get your bulbs out, and it will take the weight off of the headlamp assembly so that you can work without worrying about dropping this and breaking it. Okay, next what we need to do is get this harness clip off. And this is that goes to the headlight. And there's some little tabs up here, and I'm going to try to keep my hands out of the way. So you're going to want to push those tabs in, and that will allow you to drop this out like that. There we go. All right. Now we're going to want to disconnect the harness. There's a little tab with a notch. Pull up and wiggle it out, and there you go. Now this is going to have to be replaced with the regulator that comes with the new headlamp, and you may have to buy a new wiring harness to match the pin set that comes on whatever bike you're doing this to. Okay, now here's the new wiring harness, and this is what will connect to the new headlamp. You're going to need to take that little tab off and move it to the new one so that you can mount it back up under the fairing. So if you just take a screwdriver and twist there a little bit, you can pull that off, and then you can transfer it by sliding it onto the other one. It may not fit as tight, it doesn't, but it'll at least hold this up so it's not flopping around up inside of the fairing. Okay, now with your harness, there may be leads that are unused. There are on mine. It's just going to be a configuration issue, or a configuration thing that you're going to have to figure out with your bike, whatever bike you're doing it on. So since these aren't being used on mine, I'm just going to take them and loop them back up inside of the shrink tubing, just to kind of keep them out of the way a little bit before I put it on. Okay, so now we'll take our new lead, plug it in, and this is something you want to look at. You want to look at the pins. So like my Harley has 4 pins that are going to match up. That's why you have to look at the lead when you buy the light, to make sure that you're getting the right type of harness for your bike. Plug it in, and then we need to put it back up under the fairing so that we can put our headlight in and connect it. Okay, so the little tab that we took out that holds the harness up, we're going to just route the wire back up the same way it was in there. There is a hole underneath this little plate that typically holds your wiring for the controls of your handlebars, which, okay, so you're going to get that in there, and you're going to snap it in, and then that'll get your lead or the tail for your headlamp in the same place that the original one was, with the bulbs that hang off, and now you'll be ready to install the next portion of your headlamp. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and connect the flux capacitor. You'll have to look at your bike voltage system to find out if you even need this or not. It's just going to depend on your motorcycle. And you plug that in, and then this tail will plug into your headlamp. Now at this point, before you even put your headlamp in, you can actually go ahead and plug your headlamp up, lay it and hold it and turn your bike on and make sure that it works. Okay, so with it, just with it resting there, I'm just going to check it. It works. This is before you mount it. If you got any problems, at least you won't have to take it out and remount the whole thing or disassemble it. Check your bright, it works. So we're good. We know at this point we can go ahead and finish the mounting of the headlamp and also dress the wires up inside of the fairing. All of this has to go inside of your fairing. So I've got some zip ties, and I'm going to zip tie it up in there the best that I can in a way where it stays out of the way and yet allows me to plug the light in. You'll just have to work that out as far as what's a good place to zip tie your cables to. Okay, next we're ready to put the headlamp in. Might want to get some help to hold it if you need so. Basically, we're just going to plug it in like we had it before. Now you can also, if you want, you can put some electrical tape around this junction here just to ensure that it holds it together and also creates a little water seal. It's up to you. So there's some tabs all around the light. They fit in the notches. They can only go one way. That's the beauty of it. Put your harness up there. One of the reasons I want to mention this, that I've zip tied these wires up in here, is because you don't want those like falling down onto the triple tree and out the back later. It keeps the wires out of the way so you don't have to worry about them coming out as you're moving down the road. So put it in there, kind of leave a natural curve of the cable. There it is, that's where it goes. Okay, and then we're ready to put our retainer ring on with the screws. When you do this, you're going to want to make sure that this retainer ring actually holds the headlamp securely. Some of them don't. You may have to buy a new ring. Otherwise, when you bolt this on, your headlight will wiggle around, which means you go down the road and your light will be bouncing, and you don't want to get into that. So you may have to buy a different ring or an entire housing for the headlamp, depending on your bike. It's something you'll have to do some research on. So basically, you put that on there, get some help to hold it, get some extra fingers in here, and then you'll put the 3 screws like that we took out before back in to hold that headlamp retaining ring on there. All right, there you go. Now that part of your headlamp's on. Now this is also how you adjust your headlight as far as the tilt goes and the angle goes, and I'm actually going to do a video on how to adjust your headlight. Okay, last we got to put the headlamp door back on. Again, there's that little tab, and it's going to go in this notch up here. So if you kind of put it up, you can turn it and you'll feel it grab, and it won't come out at the top. At that point, you can just push the bottom in. Now this little rubber seal, be real careful with it. It's real hard to, or it's real easy to get it where it doesn't go around there well, and it'll pinch on you sometimes, so just be real careful with that. And then you'll need to get this little bolt back in. Now this is interesting because they didn't make this where it goes straight up or straight in. It's actually at a weird angle, so be real careful with that so that you don't cross thread it by putting it in at the wrong angle. Okay, and there you go. Now your headlamp's in. Take any of the decals off and wash it real good, and you're ready to go. We'll go ahead and do a after shot now with it all in, so we could do a comparison of before and after. Okay, so this is just the before the LED headlamp goes in. We've already put the turn signals on, as was showed in the previous videos. So you can see the difference in just the turn signals themselves versus the LED headlamp. Let me give a bright lights. There's your bright, and then back to normal. Okay, so here's the after shot with the light on in comparison to the old one. That's high beam. There's your low beam.